basically kicked off from participating in the event. So I was not accustomed to throwing clubs. And he said to me, now listen son, he just assumed everybody did throw clubs. He says, when you throw them, you've got to throw them all your weight on the left side. You've got to have a pose like a matador, otherwise you get the back page and you're a commoner. Me, I always get the front page. So I said, well, what about this young man who's coming along that's such an icon, Arnold Palmer? He didn't like Arnold Palmer. He said, Arnold Palmer, man, he's got a backswing like a waiter carrying a tray. And he says, Winnie Palmer was the greatest club retriever the world ever saw. Which we know wasn't very true. But I just like to say that Winnie, as much as she encouraged Arnold, she would never accept excuses. There's nothing that upsets me more than I when see athletes who have this opportunity, particularly today, who are inundated with the opportunity of making $1.8 million first prize in a tournament, how lucky they are. And I remember we played in South Africa and Arnold shot 80 and I shot 68. And he said he had a head cold, and when he grabbed him, I'll never forget, she held him, she said, if I shot 80, I'd really have a head cold. So don't talk, just say you played badly. And I loved that because she was tough, as well as being such an incredible wife. But I promised myself when I was 10, because without being repetitive, my mother died when I was 8. From cancer, and that's why I really admire Morgan for what she's doing for cancer. 1 out of every 2 men in this room will die of cancer. Never mind diabetics, which are increasing and is an epidemic today, and heart attacks. But my father worked in a gold mine making £100 a month, 10,000 feet underground. My brother was at war at 17, fighting with the Americans and the British. My sister was at boarding school, and I travelled an hour and a half to school and an hour and a half back, and often came back to a dark house where I had to cook my own food and iron my own clothes. And I don't know what it is. Sometimes you're loaned a gift, which I was loaned a gift. And this is my belief, and we're all entitled, and we're lucky that we live in a land where you can have a belief, and you're not killed if you say you're a Christian, for example. And I don't know what it was, and I said to myself, one day when I'm a champion, not if I'm going to be a champion, this was at 10. One day when I'm a champion, I'm going to help people who struggle, and how blessed I am to become a world champion, and to be in the position to change people's lives. And I think by the year 2020, we will reach $100 million. And I say to my son, who established the Player Foundation in 1983, how much I appreciate what he did for me as a son. And I think when you have managers as athletes today, it's imperative that the athletes help their clients. Too many of them are yes men and are too interested in making money and not advising them correctly, and I think that's imperative. The game of golf, how do you ever say thank you for being involved in a game of golf like I have? It's enabled me to travel more miles than any human being that has ever lived, 23 million kilometers around the world, to have played and stayed or visited the White House and played with most of the presidents of the United States, the greatest country on the planet, to visit the emirs in the Middle East, and to try and understand other people's cultures and religions. It's enabled me to dine and be with the royal family, who I have great respect for, but also at the same time to visit the poor people in Africa, and when I say poor, I mean poor, and the poor people of India, who are even more poor, and to dine with them, and I think I learned maybe more from them than I did from the higher echelon. The humility, the gratitude, the appreciation, the hope of having a dream. And I go to our father Nelson Mandela, who spent 20 years in jail under great extreme conditions. And I had the pleasure of meeting him when he came out of jail. He requested to meet me, which was a great honor. And I said to him, I'll never forget, I said, he wasn't president then, I said, Mr. Mandela, you must hate the white man, and you must have great revenge in your heart. And there was a bowl of fruit on the table. He said, Gary, you see that green apple? He says, it's green on the outside and juicy on the inside. And if I have hatred and revenge in my heart, I'll be green on the outside and rotten on the inside. I love people. I want to build a strong economy. I want to bring us together. And what a time when we were in the midst of severe problems in South Africa. There could have been immense bloodshed. And he and I together raised just under 20 million for underprivileged young black children. And every time I was with him, it was remarkable. The mind works in a very strange way and very quickly. And I couldn't help but cry every time I was with him, because it was hard to believe that he could have so much love. And love is probably the greatest ingredient that we can be blessed with. Love is God. And so we're all in a position in this room to change the lives of people. And I can only say how privileged I am to have spent the majority of my life. I have 3 American children, 15 American grandchildren, to have played in this great country, to have received the awards such as tonight, which I appreciate, and to be blessed to have seen a country that's done so much, the great Samaritan of the world. I, as a South African, am proud to be an ambassador for America as well. And America is going through a very difficult time right now. A lot of people don't like America. A lot of people are very jealous of America. I wouldn't be too perturbed, because my great hero, Winston Churchill, said, why does he hate me? What have I done for him lately? And this is exactly what happens to America. And as you know, people of my age in this room, you know that no good deed goes unpunished, and that is such a damn true saying. And so you can be rest assured, you can go to your graves that America has been this great Samaritan around the world and has helped people with education, with missionaries, with education. Wherever I travel, it's strange how I meet somebody who has a top position in the world, and I say, well, where were you educated? Stanford. Yale. It doesn't matter what university it may be. And they've had this opportunity to get this great education in this country. So there are many things to say thank you for in the world. I happen to be, I think the word is gratitude is so important. I used the word entitlement the other day. I had to do a talk to some boys in Philadelphia and my grandson's golf team, and I went there and the coach said, Gary, please give them hell. He says, because if I say something, their mothers come here and they say, so cruel and so mean, and the dean wants to kick me out of the university. So I go along, I say, morning guys, and I say, morning, about 30 of them there. And I said, you know, I'm here today because first of all, I love you, I want to see you do well in life. How many of you want to be pro golfers? They all put their hands up. I said, you don't stand a damn chance. Not one of them. I see the coach, man, he's feeling good. So the one boy said, why do you say that, Mr. Player? I said, well, answer a question simultaneously. Do you have a TV? Yes. Do you have a car? Yes. Do you have clothes? Yes. Do you have food? Yes. Do you have a shower? Yes. Do you have a bath? Yes. 3 meals a day? Yes. You go to a good school? Yes. And they went on, and I said, damn it! Most children in the world don't have one of those things. And so I can tell you one thing. In China, because I go to China and India 2-3 times a year, those kids, and in Korea, whether it's education or whether it be sports, but we are now on the subject of sport, while you sleeping in the morning in your mommy's lovely little house, and she's going to prepare breakfast for you and take you to school, these kids are out exercising. They're sitting there giving themselves the training method that I went through as a young man, getting themselves teaching themselves they've got to have pain, and they've got to go through a pain barrier, and they've got to have great discipline, and that's what they've got to do, and they've got to outwork you American boys by 3 to 4 hours a day. How the hell are you going to meet them? And I said, so you better wake up, because you have an opportunity and you live in a land of milk and honey, and you're not entitled to a damn thing. You've got to do what makes this country great. And this is where I'll end up. What made this great country great, as we all know, is faith, which is dying rapidly, unfortunately, education, and hard work. And so I say thank you for the opportunities I've experienced. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to help people and change people's lives, and I'm proud to receive the Winnie Palmer Award tonight. Thank you.